Hi everyone, I'm Abel Delarosa, and thank you so much for joining me in this adventure of painting. Every week we will take one item and paint it from beginning to end. The techniques I will show you, you can use both for oil and acrylic. And I am filming from the Art Center in El Paso, Texas. Let me show you the building right there. This is the best fine art store in the region. If you're ever in the area, stop by. We'll have a spot of tea. I'm not really English, don't get fooled by the accent. Actually, I don't even know what I am. Alright, let's go in and start and get ready. Okay, the first thing we're going to paint together is a nectarine. In a moment I'll put it up and you can stop the video and draw it if you're following along. While you're doing that, I'm going to finish up a game of Jenga and I'll be right back. Okay, how did your drawing come out? I hope very well. The producer wants to know who won the game of Jenga. You know, it's not who won or lost. In fact, there is no winner, there is no loser. It was just a fun family game, that's it. Questions. Okay, let's begin with our painting. First, we're going to lay out the color. We're ready to set up our palette. You really don't need all these colors. I usually have a few extras because I'm not always sure what color I'm going to use. But for this particular painting, we have titanium white, Van Dyke brown, burnt umber, burnt sienna, Naples yellow, yellow ochre, cadmium yellow medium, cadmium orange, cadmium red light, rose red, alizarin crimson, dioxazine purple, and ultramarine blue. Generally, what I like to do ahead of time is pre-mix the main colors of the painting. And I'm going to do that now. And so I won't bore you. I'll speed it up, but you can see what colors I'm mixing. And I'm going to go from the highlight to the highlight transition, that is the color right before the highlight, the medium tones, and then going into my darker or shade colors. So let's go ahead and do that. We're ready to begin our painting. So what we will do first, once you have everything drawn, is we will begin with one of the medium colors. And we'll start off with the reddish orange. You notice the way I'm using the brush strokes is I'm not covering everything. In fact, I'm keeping colors away from each other to an extent. That's temporarily. We'll cover thoroughly later. the brush strokes I'm also applying in different angles. A little later we will blend all of these colors together. So I'm going between the warm reds, that is the orange reds, and the cool reds, that is the reds with a little more blue in them. You got some beautiful curves on the fruit here. Let's go into some shadows here. Something that helps in your painting too is when you follow the angle with your brush, you follow the angle of the curves. That helps tremendously. Okay, we're still continuing with the curves here. If your brush starts to get too dirty, either clean it or change it out. Remember, clean it or change it out. There's a very nice highlight in here, which we will do in a little while. There's an indent in this area with some beautiful yellows here. I will start going into more of the shadow areas. Start using some of the dark colors you made. And I don't know if you noticed, I made two dark colors, one a little warmer. It's just with a little more red, and then a cooler one with a little more blue in it. Sometimes the eye prefers to see just a variety of dark colors instead of just one dark color. And almost never will I use black. There's some deep purples in here too. And some very darks. When you're doing your darkest colors, before you get back into the your medium colors, it's good to have a transition color instead of quickly jumping back into the main colors. A transition color. Here I'm using alizarin with a little purple in it as my transition color. And you notice at this point I'm still not covering everything. Now we do have some purples that are just stand out just a little more here. Don't be shy of colors. Again, we go to our deeper colors here on the base. Beautiful transition colors. A little bit of light here. A little bit of light in here too. All right, we're moving right along. Hope you're having fun, because I sure am. Okay, we're going to take just a little break from our painting because I wanted to see if you thought the same as I did. You know how colors over the years have gotten brighter and brighter? I mean, they even made, I don't know, the color scientists made fluorescent that is so bright that if you stare at it long enough, it's just like, it burns the eyes. I wonder at what point will the scientists stop? When will they say enough is enough? I don't know. My producer says he's actually got film of when the color scientists tried to do that. This is new to me too. Well, let's watch it. Dr. Manny, I need brighter colors. I'm doing all I can, Captain. Come on, Doctor, give me more. I can't, Captain. She's gonna blow. Whoa-oh. What did you do? I'm not sure about that video. Suspicious. Oh well, might be true. There, you will notice that on the edge here there's a reflected light. But before we get to the reflected light, we need a little color to introduce it. So I put an edge of a little bit of purple. And now my highlight there. Very nice. Let's see, maybe just a little stronger. Okay. Let's come down to this area. We have a little bit of reflected pattern from the cloth. So now we're going to start heading up into our highlight area. As we do, we have, before we get to the highlight, we have some beautiful pinks. And some beautiful purples too. Light purples. Okay, let's see, I think we missed a highlight right back here on the top left side. Let's add the highlight. The curve here. There's a yellow at the top I missed. Very nice, stronger yellow here. But that's okay. Oil's so forgiving, it lets you fix and come back. No pressure. Now we're ready for our actual highlight. Now we're ready for our actual highlight. And it's not white completely. But we will get even a little lighter than this. Okay. You can go back at any point and things you might have missed or you notice later, go ahead and do it. All right, this is the fun part. What we're going to do now is we are going to begin to blend the colors. So, first of all, get your brush and clean it very, very well. Take all the paint out of it and keep it basically dry. Okay, so clean your brush well, dry it off. And now notice what I'm going to do. I'm not going to brush like this. I'm going to keep my brush very, very low, and I'm going to blend the colors, not over blend, but blend them just enough. Okay, let's begin in this area right here. You notice too, I'm trying to keep with the shape of the fruit. If you start to pick up too many colors, clean your brush. Coming down this way. The highlights just slightly, not too much, because I'll lose them if I overblend. Okay, I'll start working my way this way. Different angles. Clean. That's part of what helps keep your colors bright and not muddy, is if you continue to clean your brush. Let's continue downward. Along the edge. Let's see, and let's continue on the top here as it turns. We'll pull this shadow just a little bit. Remember, keep your brush low. And try to control the amount of pressure you put on. Sometimes you want more pressure, sometimes you want less pressure. Sometimes you want to pull the paint, sometimes you want to push it, sometimes you want to dab it. You control the paint. Here we had a little bit of reflected light from underneath. Some light over here that I missed. Okay, we'll continue with the left side of the fruit. After I clean my brush, I'll come around towards the bottom. Don't lose that little crease right there. And we have a highlight or a reflected light on the left side here. So that's basically your fruit. Oops, let's soften this little edge here. That's basically your fruit there. Now, what I'm going to do on my own, since we're really concentrating more on the fruit, is I will do a little bit of the background, but with speed painting. I don't really paint that fast, but just to kind of give you an overall idea of the painting. Okay, so I'll go ahead and do that now. to review an art product. So let's go choose one. Alright, this is a product I've chosen, Krylon Kamar Varnish. And I have to be truthful, I love this product. I use it on my paintings all the time, and I have for years. What I like about it is that when you apply it, it goes on evenly, no brush marks. It never ever yellows. If for some reason you need to ever in the future remove it, it's easily removable. It enhances the colors, makes them look fresh. And you can even use it as a retouch varnish. So I would definitely recommend it if you've never ever tried it. Truthfully, I think it's a lot better than Domar varnish. And so I give it my stamp of approval. Well, that was our first class. How did you do? I bet you did really great. You know, the goal of my art vlog is that you learn something and that you create and that you have fun. If you did one or all of them, excellent. If you liked the video, make sure to give me a thumbs up. Be nice to subscribe, that we can keep up, and maybe check out my links. Well, that's it. Until next time, remember, the world is your coloring book. But don't eat the crayons.